Welcome to A Good Life with Soul Haven, presented by Gregg, Samuel Yisrael, and Natasha The Loving Chef.
Welcome to episode 9 of A Good Life at Soul Haven. Once again, joined by Natasha. Hello.
Hi, great to be back here again, Chris.
And also Samuel is back. Hello, Samuel.
Hi.
Great to see you again today. So today we are on to week 9 as we get well and truly into the springtime. I feel like spring is definitely here. We've had a few nice sunny days now, last couple of weeks, and all the daffodils are out, and it's definitely spring. So we've got a few things that are spring related to talk about. We're going to be going through permaculture principle number 9, which is small and slow solutions, the power of patience and growth. Taking inspiration from one of my favorite little creatures, the ants. I think ants are underrated because they're so great, aren't they? They work as a little team. They've got their own kind of culture and society. And it's just amazing how organised they are for such a tiny little creature. They just do incredible stuff, don't they?
Absolutely. We've got a lot to learn from an ant and an ant family as well. So yeah, looking forward to that section.
Brilliant. About diligence and not overburdening. So that sounds like a good lesson. And then we're going to have an update on the garden and sharing about the dandelion, which again is underrated. I think people think it's a weed, but I think they're quite pretty.
Absolutely. It feeds bees, but also they're very, very underrated in what they can help us with on a personal level as well. So yeah, looking forward to sharing that.
And I'm particularly excited that Samuel has brought the singing bowls in again this week. So we're going to have some relaxation time with the singing bowls today.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. I'm just going to do a meditation with the singing bowls and talk about vibrations.
Lovely. It says here you're going to be playing us a tune. I don't know if you can you play music on them?
You play a flow.
Well, it's kind of a music, isn't it? But it's not. If I asked for a rendition of, I don't know, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you might struggle with that.
I might do. I mean, each bowl does have a note to it, but the thing is that each one has also undertones, so you don't get a pure note.
It would be the best version ever of that classic nursery rhyme. I don't know why that was the first thing I thought of. Natasha is going to be sharing a quick cleansing spring soup and talking more about her themed supper club, so I'm looking forward to that, and we'll be picking our cards for the week. So lots to look forward to on this episode of A Good Life at Soul Haven. But first of all, for people that are joining us for the first time, either on the radio or on the podcast or on the video, could you introduce Soul Haven, please?
Yes, certainly. So Soul Haven, we're based in Malton, just outside Northampton. We offer an award-winning community space to explore the seasons, but also the nature within us as well, offering a wide variety of courses, workshops, but also a place to be heard and understood and understand yourself a lot better as well, to build sustainable people and become healthier and happier.
Which is what it's all about, and I think most people would agree that that's kind of where they'd like their life to be, but sometimes easier said than done, and that's what you do at Soul Haven, is just help people connect the dots and just learn from the world around us and nature.
Yeah, absolutely we do. We like to dive, we like to dive deep into oneself and have a look and a better understanding, but we always relate it back to the nature and what nature also provides us as well, so yes.
Fabulous. So you're listening to A Good Life at Soul Haven, and we're going to start off today with permaculture principle number 9, which is small and slow solutions, the power of patience and growth. And Samuel is back this week to take us through principle number 9. What's it all about?
So this is all about, as it says, taking things slowly. So we're not trying to do a big, massive step. So on Wednesday, we did our first session of the Happiness Habits at Soul Haven, which is a 6-week program. And one of the things that we discussed was taking small steps, looking at what you want to do and taking that one small step towards where you want to be. The thing that helps you feel happy. It's about working with the natural process rather than focusing on immediate results, taking your time to build up that resilience, that time. The best system in nature is about things that grow slowly. Things don't happen immediately all at once. They happen over a period of time.
That's so true, and it's usually a number of years even with nature, and particularly when you walk through a forest and you see some of those trees that have been there for hundreds of years, and you can see that that's not something that's happened overnight. Have you got an example of something in nature that's that grows slowly?
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes things appear to grow slowly. So, like, think about a mushroom. Underneath, they seem to pop up suddenly overnight, but actually underneath the surface is a great network of where they're growing underneath the ground that we don't see. So they're slowly moving across underneath the earth and then popping up in different places as they grow. So things, they often grow in decaying matter, which takes obviously a long time for things to break down with the creatures that help break down the matter, and then the mushrooms start to grow in that process.
I find it fascinating because funguses are so unlike anything else in the natural world. The way that they grow and as you say, that actually what you see above ground is just a tiny bit of the whole organism. It's just all there, this little network under the surface that you're not even aware of. It's really cool. And then when they pop up, they're so interesting, all the different colours and shapes and stuff, and just you want to go and touch them, but you really shouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless you know what you're doing, they can be quite dangerous. And that's the thing. It's about taking the time. I hold up my hands as I'm one who wants to see immediate results often, but we need to take the time to work slowly towards something. Give the time for ourselves. And that's where the patience and the growth comes in, because it's doing that habit. So on Wednesday we talked about how we brush our teeth every day, and that's formed that small step. Over a lifetime, you're keeping your teeth healthy and good, and you can use that habit to anchor something else. So while you're brushing your teeth, that can become a meditation. That small moment in time can be that time for you, using that moment of, it's 2 minutes of you're brushing your teeth. You can take that moment to think of something, to focus on something that makes you happy.
I always get told off for brushing my teeth too vigorously, so that might help me calm things down and just take a little bit more calmly. But
Yes.
I do. I actually brush my teeth like I'm in a race to. Well, generally I am late getting ready in the morning. So it's like if I brush them faster, then I can speed the process up. But yeah, I think you're right. If you're doing something as a habit already every day, then tying some positive actions in with that is no bad thing.
Yeah.
So it's a good life at Soulhaven, and we're talking to Samuel about permaculture principle number 9, which is small and slow solutions, and how sometimes things don't happen instantly. You've got to take your time, and sometimes you've got to notice the small changes over time. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it's about long-term change happens in small increments, just like our garden grows slowly. The bulbs or the seeds are hidden beneath the soil, and they're growing slowly, and then those flowers, you suddenly see them popping up through the soil. And it's the same with here. We don't need to do everything at once. We need to have time to not rush through life and give our time space, and that will help us, especially in this busy world, find that sense of peace.
That's such good advice. And sometimes it's all about making sure that you're keeping enough energy back for your mental health as well as your physical health, because when you exert all of your energy rushing around and being hasty, sometimes you don't leave anything left in the tank to make sure that your mind is staying okay.
Yes, absolutely. And reflect, think about the ants. You can see them moving around, and they're always taking the time. They work diligently. They don't overburden themselves, and they store things for the future. And that's for us. We can take time to. If we don't take time during the day to give ourselves that space, we'll we might end up feeling exhausted and overworked. So it's about, carrying those tiny loads, not a big, huge weight, and taking one step at a time and not overwhelming yourself.
Do you know, I've never seen an ant have a rest though. They're always on the go. You kind of think, like, guys, you've got all the time. Just leave the leaf for a bit, have a break. But you don't ever see them sitting there enjoying the sunshine or reading a book.
We don't see them. That doesn't mean that.
Do you think they get? That's what they do when they're in the ant nest. That's when they have their downtime.
I'm not sure. I mean, because but as you know, if you've ever I've put my spade into the soil and found an ant's nest, and then they're all busy running around trying to move things out.
Getting away from your spade, probably.
Yeah, getting away from the spade, moving the creatures in things. It's more about how they are taking things. They'll cut things into little pieces. But they can carry quite large things for their size.
Incredibly strong for their size, aren't they?
But you can also see where you'll see a line of ants, and they've taken something bigger and they've put it into smaller pieces.
No, they're very strong. Some of them are really hard to squash. But if you try. Okay, so that's what we can. And also, if you see a giant thumb coming down from above, run. That's a lesson to be learnt from the ant. So, yeah, they store food, they carry tiny loads, they move with purpose, but they're always progressing. They're never running.
Yes.
Well, sometimes they do. So how can we apply ant wisdom to our mental well-being?
Sorry, just turn my page.
Over the page.
So this is about taking big tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Like we said, small, slow solutions. Instead of overwhelming ourselves with everything at once, we do it in small chunks that make it easier to do. Restoring things emotionally, taking rest and care, so we're pacing ourselves. And although you mentioned we never see ants stopping, it's about finding that joy in that moment, finding that solution, finding that healing in that moment of time. So, as people, giving ourselves that space when we've done a task to see it and acknowledge it for what it is.
Do you think actually resting isn't about doing nothing, but it's about doing things in a way that is relaxing? So, for example, maybe with the ant, you can, if you're doing a bit of colouring in, or you're doing some kind of activities that help you relax, that's actually sometimes better than just doing nothing, although doing nothing is good as well.
Yes, I'm a great fan of doing movement with meditation, to having an activity that enables you. So I often struggle to have that quiet in mind. So as I've said before, drumming and instruments is something that I use a lot, because then I've got that activity, something to focus on and bringing my presence of mind. The same with colouring, and I'm doing something in that moment to bring that focus in, to bring that time of storing that energy, to give that rest and self-care, and enable me to pace myself.
So have we got an exercise that we can try to help everybody get into that state of relaxation?
Absolutely. So I'm just encouraging listeners just to close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath in through the nose and out from the mouth. And as you have your eyes closed, imagine you're an ant, strong and steady, moving forward at your own pace. Just feel that movement, that pace you're moving through. Just think of that one step that you can take today that will make a difference. And just as you hold that in your mind, if you feel yourself in a moment of stress or activity, just picture that ant and picture it just slowly moving through. and just remember this. Thank you.
It's a great exercise to do when you're feeling a bit stressed, just kind of put yourself back into that kind of ant state. Yes. Okay, so next here on A Good Life at Soul Haven, we are going to be talking about the garden with Natasha, and this is a time where there seems to be a lot going on in the garden. It's a busy old time. Springtime, what's going on right now?
Oh my gosh, we have so much going on in our community garden right now. So we've got lots and lots of little seedlings growing. We've got tomatoes, cauliflowers. We've got broad beans that are coming to flower, which will then produce our wonderful broad beans for our early harvest. We have a selection of lettuces. We've got the little gems. We've got the iceberg. We've got the rocket growing. And they're also like tiny at the moment, and sometimes we really do have to reflect on it, on how big they will grow over the nurturing time before we can harvest. And I'm super happy because we've had a first cut of our lawn, and it's magical. It's like the first time of spring when you're cutting the lawn for the first time and you can smell it. It is amazing. So yes,
love that smell. I need to cut my grass. It's got to be a bit of a jungle. It's definitely time.
It's definitely time for cutting. Yeah, and it's growing super fast this year as well.
It really is.
Yeah, the warm weather that we've had recently, and obviously a lot of rain that we've experienced as well, really makes the grass grow. But within the grass, you know, there are our magical weeds, the dandelion. The dandelion is an amazing weed. You know, what is a weed? A weed is just something, or a plant that we don't want where it is that it's grown, really, more than anything. But the dandelion feeds the bees. It's the first lot of flowers and pollen that they get in springtime, and this really what does then feed the bees to bring on the harvest for the bees and things. But it's great. But dandelions also represent and have something amazing for us humans too. You know, dandelions, you can eat every single bit of a dandelion.
Really?
The root, the flower and the leaf.
I had no idea. I knew you could make it into a drink.
Yeah, dandelion and burdock drink.
Yeah, I don't know what a burdock is. What's a burdock?
A burdock is a root, so it's a root from a different plant that looks very similar to the dandelion, has its own healing properties within that. But yeah, dandelion and burdock contains.
It's one of my favourites.
Yeah, it's quite an old. I don't know whether it's even about anymore. Actually, dandelion and burdock.
I think you can get it in posh soft drinks. So when you get the posh squash, that they give it fancy flavour. It's always elderflower and something or other, and dandelion and burdock, and it's nice, a nice kind of refreshing summer drink. But I guess you should be making it yourself, really, shouldn't you?
Yeah, it's very easy to make. But yeah, so what are dandelions? How can dandelions help us? Dandelions are really good for liver and detox support, especially with the root. So it helps with detoxification of the liver and cleans it all out. And it also supports the fat digestion and can help the sluggish digestion. So if you've had a really heavy meal, a really fatty meal, or something that's really been deep fried, then dandelion tea the next day can really help break down the fats in our bodies and make us less sluggish along the way.
That's a really good tip, because you do feel pretty sluggish when you've had a big heavy meal.
Yeah, definitely. You know, dandelion is also used, fresh dandelion is also used for skin conditions as well. So psoriasis, we've got eczema, we've got acne, and that's all linked to the liver. So if our liver is sluggish, then it actually is a representation externally with our skin. So yeah, dandelion tea, dandelion soup, dandelion leaves in your salads. It's coming up to warmer weather now, so that's a really good idea.
So if you've got a skin condition, do you rub the dandelion on your skin, or do you just have to eat it somehow?
Eat it, drink it, and make a dandelion tea out of it, or put little tiny fresh dandelion leaves onto it. So the bigger leaf of dandelion is quite bitter. So if you are going to pick dandelions, obviously make them from a little plant. So you want the littler leaves which are sweeter. Wash them, please wash them, and then you can add them straight to your soups or your salads and things, and they really do help you a lot to detox for the liver.
Definitely wash them. My dog used to be attracted to anything yellow, so yeah, definitely give them a wash.
Yeah, definitely. So dandelions also help with kidneys. They act as a natural. They also help with preventing the UTIs with the kidneys and kidney stones and promoting healthy urine. They actually help with potassium, so if your potassium levels are down. I remember swimming once, and I used to do a lot of swimming, but I used to get leg cramps, and I got advised to eat more potassium, and bananas are really good for potassium, like we've already discussed in previous episodes, but I don't eat bananas. I'm not a fan of bananas. Sorry, bananas.
We talked about this, so you see, this hasn't changed.
No, still not changed. Still try the banana thing, but no. But dandelions have a lot of potassium in there. So yes, and again, you can eat the flower, the root, or the leaf with that. Dandelions are also good for helping with your blood sugars. I've discovered. So yes, so I was diagnosed as diabetic back in 2023. And I thought I was eating healthy, whereas actually I wasn't so much, part of my journey. But dandelions help with your blood sugars.
That's very useful
lowers
to
it
know.
down, helps regulate it, and helps regulate the insulin. They're rich in antioxidants and fibre, so it supports the heart and the heart health and reduces inflammation as well. Can help lower blood pressure as well, because it reduces the salt and the sodium. Oh my gosh, our list is quite endless, but
There's lots of benefits to dandelions.
Yeah.
And what are some other ones?
Digestive system.
Yeah.
So it also helps bring our inner garden into our gut flora. Helps that with our digestion. And anti-inflammatory, last one, anti-inflammatory and immune boosting. So it helps fight chronic inflammation, supports the immune system, and aids the prevention of infections and diseases.
Fabulous. So I think lots of motivation there, lots of reasons why dandelions need to be part of your cuisine, just basically. And just, I don't think there's anybody that doesn't have dandelions growing in their garden somewhere.
Yes.
So go and get them involved. And what would you say are kind of the top ways to use dandelions for healing?
Great question, Chris. So dandelion tea, literally go into your garden, pick a few leaves of dandelion or the flower, should I say, wash them and then put them into a mug, cover them with boiled water or just off boiled water and drink it. It's going to be quite bitter to start with because obviously we're getting used to the flavour. But that's a really simple thing. Can
you mix other things with the dandelion to make it taste a bit less bitter?
You could do it with mint. Please don't put sugar in there because that's not helping anybody. But
it just balances out.
Yeah, removes one thing and adds another thing. But take it very weak to start off with your dandelion tea, and then you can progress to a stronger tea over the course of time. You can chop up the leaves into soups, into salads. You can actually pick off the petals of the flowers and sprinkle that onto your salads and make it look pretty and appetizing, as well as nurturing ourselves as well and things. And you can also make dandelion honey.
Wow.
Easy peasy. So you can either use agave syrup, maple syrup, honey if you're a honey user, and literally you want to pick off your dandelion heads or the dandelion flowers, and then you want to warm up your honey or your maple syrup, and then pop in your flowers and let it all cool down, and then the dandelions will emerge in towards the honey or the maple syrup. Spread that on your toast, have a little spoonful a day or something, and then that will actually help you incorporate dandelion and all the benefits from it.
Although probably quite sugary.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Yes.
But delicious
it's
though,
a
I'd
natural
imagine.
way, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like honey is a really natural source, and honey has got a lot of good properties.
Oh yeah, it's great for your immune system, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So mix the two together if you're really struggling with a bitterness of a dandelion. But yeah, and please don't mow them down because the little bumblebees need them right now.
Oh, little things. But no, they produce a lot of seeds, don't they?
Yeah.
When you call them, once they go.
Yeah.
But you never see, this is the thing that confuses me. They seem to go from yellow to seeds instantly. You never see a halfway point. You never see one with a few little seeds or a little bit yellow. They just like overnight, bang, ready to go. Weird little flowers.
They are, aren't they? Oh, look, the sun's out. I've got to go to seed. I've got to produce more.
Quick, no one's looking. Let's do it now.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So there you go. Dandelions, one of the most generous gifts of nature, a free, powerful medicine growing all around us. Okay, next, it is time for some good vibes from Samuel. He's brought his singing bowls in again this week, which is always a hit. And tell us a little bit, for people that haven't heard you with the singing bowls, can you introduce them to us?
Yes, so I have a singing bowl here.
Okay.
And, so these are traditional instruments that are used in Buddhist temples. So across the Himalayan region in Nepal and the different countries around there, they've been used for centuries. They're traditionally a mix of 7 different metals.
Wow.
And I can never remember them all.
I was going to ask, but I thought probably not.
So, I mean, definitely the gold, silver.
Copper in there?
Copper, tin. Yes, I can't remember.
And they somehow managed to mix all those metals together in some sort of furnace?
Yes, so if you can see on the video, you can see that it's actually...
It's sort of marbled, isn't it?
It's marbled. It's because it's been beaten, so it's been made in a furnace. They've all been mixed together, and then it's been hammered by hand.
That's amazing.
So, I mean, often you'll find modern ones they might have been machined, but this one's been hammered in hand, and this sign here means that this was made during the full moon.
Wow, it looks like something Tolkien might have designed.
Yeah,
with a little rune on the front. Very cool.
Yes. So the sound they're tuned to a set note, and they are said to be, which represents each of the 7 chakras in your body. And for each singing bowl, they are for a different chakra. But the thing is that, although, so for example, this one is tuned to a C. However, it also has lots of overtones, so it's not just the one note. It has multiple notes within it. And what that does is that your brain can't quite latch on to a set sound because there's lots of sounds, which helps you, which means that if you're in a meditative state, you go in, your brain kind of goes into a deeper state of relaxation.
It's very clever. It's all the different harmonics of the sound waves that are all complementing each other and just creating this perfect harmony at the same time of all the different notes and subnotes and things, and probably some frequencies that you wouldn't even be able to hear, but you can feel the vibrations as they're
absolutely
played.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. So how do you use a singing bowl for energy balance?
So, like I said, these bring your calm to you. So, I mean, one way you can use it personally is here I'm holding it on my palm, and we can strike the bowl gently. And then you feel the vibration just ringing out slowly.
And I guess you can feel that in your hand.
Absolutely.
As it's vibrating on your hand there.
Yes, and then if I take the mallet and run it round,
it's amazing that the more you rub the mallet on it, the louder it gets.
So as I'm doing that, as I'm going round, as it's getting louder and louder, the vibrations from the bowl are also getting stronger in my hand. So my hand is actually tingling now.
Wow.
So when it first started, there was nothing there to feel. But as I kept going round, you could feel that vibration going into your arm. And the key to that is moving slowly and steadily, and just as you feel that sound, just imagining clearing happening.
That's so clever how it does that.
Yes.
And what are the other benefits of the singing bowls? They bring balance to your mind. They clear the tension that you've got stored up in your body.
Yeah, so it helps you, because of the sound, I say it takes you into a bit higher state of relaxation, which brings balance to your mind. It clears that tension and stress that's held. And when you play the bowls, you're addressing each of the energy within your body, each of your chakras, bringing healing to that.
So is there a way that you can get the same effect without a singing bowl at home? Can you kind of recreate that effect?
Well, one way that we can do this is through humming. So we can just, if you take a deep breath in, close your eyes, and as you hum, you feel that vibration in your head, in your body, and you can use different tones to focus on the different notes of similarly to the singing bowl. You can focus on different chakras using different tones of the way that you hum or the way that you use your voice. So humming, you could do a So I'm using an R sound, which is my throat chakra.
Sorry, I thought there was another one coming. Okay, well, we're going to hear from the singing bowls next. So would you like to create some sounds with the singing bowls? Samuel's going to head over to the singing bowl table and set his bowls. How many bowls do we have here today?
So we have 7 bowls, one for each chakra.
Okay, off you go.
So we're just going to
It's an amazing sound, isn't it, when they're all vibrating at the same time, and you have the 7 bowls there, all making their own notes. And I noticed that you were putting one of your hammers inside the bowl when you were hitting it on the outside with the other one. Is there a reason why you do it that way?
It just helps steady the bowl.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
And also it changes the notes, so you can just hit it on the side. But as I'm hitting it harder, I may have noticed I hit one quite the wrong way and it fell over.
Which is fine, really. It doesn't really
Yes.
matter, but I guess you have to judge how heavy the bowl is, and they're all going to be different weights, aren't they?
Yes, and there actually is different size mallets which produce a better tone with different size bowls.
Okay. And would you normally have somebody striking the bowls while you relax, or can you relax while you're actually creating the sounds?
When people attend a sound meditation, that somebody will be striking the bowls while you're lying down and meditating. However, you can do what I just did, and you're playing them yourself and have a benefit from that.
That's fascinating. Well, thank you so much for bringing the singing bowls in again this week, and for creating that incredible... Was that a sound bath? Is that what you'd call it?
Yes. Sound bath.
Okay, brilliant. I feel well bathed in the sounds. Okay, we're coming on to our springtime recipe now. Back to the loving chef, Natasha. Hopefully you're feeling nice and energized from the singing bowls, ready to create a bowl of soup.
I love that, yeah.
Which we're not going to serve in the singing bowl, because that would just be wrong.
Definitely. But yeah, the singing bowls were lovely. Thank you so much, Samuel, with that.
You're welcome.
And it's really true, isn't it? Because I'm kind of zoned out now. I'm like, okay.
It's
my
amazing
world
how it
is
affects
stopped.
you, isn't it? 'Cause
Yeah.
it just puts you in such a nice... I'm loving doing this every single week, because it just sets me up for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. And I also know that you both mentioned about humming, or Samuel mentioned about humming. Humming is a really good way to stop the monkey mind. So if you hum your favourite tune, you can't think of anything else because you're busy humming. And it's like, I'm not going to give you an example. But
No, it's true. It's stopping it, though.
It's stopping
Once it gets
the
stuck
whole
in your head,
yes.
you just have that tune stuck in for the rest of the day, and it's always something really irritating that gets stuck in my head.
Absolutely. But sorry, I digress from my soup.
No, let's get into the soup. This is a spring soup.
Yes, so this is a lovely cleansing spring soup. So obviously over the winter time we may have fed ourselves a little bit differently. We may be a little bit stagnant. We want to put a spring step back inside of us, and obviously we are what we eat, and we want to take all of that and start nurturing the garden within ourselves. So it's a really easy recipe. It doesn't have to be 100% of the quantities, but it's more about the ingredients that I'm going to share with you. So leeks, let's say leeks for example. Leeks are really good. They support our digestive system, and it also helps us detox from the inside. So
see, I think a lot of people would think of leeks as a winter vegetable, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but they're being harvested now.
That's an interesting fact.
Yeah, so they've grown all the way through the winter time, and now we're harvesting them, and now we can start nurturing ourselves with them.
Because when is St David's Day? Because they're the Welsh vegetable, and they like daffodils as well, don't they? So I guess they're kind of a springtime.
I think we had St David's Day March. No, I'm going to say Patrick's Day then, at March the 17th.
Yeah, we definitely had St Patrick's Day.
Yeah,
but
I think it's March the 23rd, I think.
I'm going to find out while you talk.
Leeks really are a symbol of springtime. And obviously...
it was March the 1st.
March the 1st.
So I was right. It's a springtime thing.
Yeah, definitely a springtime thing with things. So yes, so you want to wash and chop your leeks. Potatoes are really good because they're grounding and earthing and sustaining. So let's say if you're really, really stressed one time and you go into a whole overload, potatoes, boiled or steamed or mashed potatoes, will actually help you to become back to centre and back to grounding again. Greens, now you have your leafy greens. Obviously we've spoken about dandelion leaves already, but you can also go and pick young shoots of nettles, spinach, kale. That's coming up in our community garden at the moment. So they're rich in iron, which is vital for our energy levels. Garlic. Now, we have some wild garlic coming in our forest garden, which is beautiful, and I'm really kicking myself because I was going to bring some into the studio today, but we'll leave that until next time. But garlic, it boosts immunity and also helps clear stagnation. So where we've been nesting throughout December, we can actually now start thinking about moving again, getting up and moving. Thyme, fresh thyme is really good, or dried thyme. Thyme supports our respiratory health. So if you've got a cold or anything, or you've got a little bit of phlegm, you drink thyme tea. So that will also help within the soup as well.
That's a good tip, because I've had a tickly cough since just after Christmas. It literally won't go away. So that would be really handy.
Fresh thyme, hot water. You can then sieve it and then drink it, and it really has a huge effect on the body. Just lets go of the cough.
Can you make thyme tea, or would that be tea time?
No, thyme tea. Tea time. Thyme tea.
Thyme tea at tea time.
We'll go for thyme tea at tea time. Yeah. And then vegetable broth. So you can gather all of these ingredients, pop it into a pan, and then cover it with your vegetable broth. And then you can bring it up to the boil and then simmer it slightly. Now, I would leave the greens in there. I would leave the greens out until the final stages, because we want to get all the vitamins and the minerals from the greens. But once the potatoes are soft and the leeks are cooked and the garlic's cooked, add in your spring greens or your greens, your dandelions, your nettles and things, and then blend to make a soup puree, or I want to say non-chunky soup, but yeah, it's a pureed soup.
Is this one better unchunky, or does it depend on your taste?
I prefer it pureed, personally, but I don't like chunky soup so much. Purees, it then combines all of the flavours together, so you can taste in every mouthful the leeks, the garlic, the thyme, the potatoes, whereas if you leave it chunky, which is fine, but then you'll have a spoonful of potato rather than a spoonful of everything at once.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of half and half. So I like the potato to be all mixed in and all creamy, but then I like little bits of interesting things in each mouthful of all the different vegetables and stuff. But
yeah,
I think everyone's different, aren't they?
Yeah, we are all different, definitely, with things. But yeah, it's a really good soup to serve. Gets us all going, gets us motivated, removes the stagnation throughout our body as well. So yes, it's a good little one.
Fabulous. So if you'd like to try this in person, you have your supper clubs, don't you?
I do have my supper clubs, yes. So we run a themed supper club once a month that's held in the yurt. I say themed. This month, April, we're going to go Mexican. Now, there will be a soup on the menu as well. Probably not quite this one, but we are going to go Mexican. But what is it all about? So it's a communal table. So you can come by yourself, and you're involved in the communications and the conversations, and you get to meet new friends. There is one stipulation. You have to come with an appetite. Oh, okay. Yes.
Well, I think that would be easy enough. And I think it'd be hard to resist some of this lovely, fresh, healthy food, especially with a spicy Mexican theme as well. Yep. What kind of stuff do people talk about? Is it all sorts?
Oh, it can be all sorts. It starts off fairly light, and then we've talked about all different things, and there's so many different characters that come, and so many different people that come. The conversation goes off on holidays. We go to patterns. We talk about gardening. We talk about anything really. No subject.
Tend to be nice subjects. You're not going to get into anything too heavy.
No.
People start arguing about politics. Yeah. It's like
we try and let go of the politics of things. But everyday occurrences and what's going on in the news, springtime and things as well. So yeah, it's definitely one that to come along and have a go, have a try at it. It is very different. I say, like 3 courses, but it's more than 3 courses. So like the starters, you've got a choice of all 5 different tapases that we do. So I do Mexican tapas, and then the main course is, it's going to be sizzling fajitas. Yes, with the guacamole, the refined beans. I do cashew nut sour cream. Oh gosh, you've got all sorts going on in there for the main course. And then for dessert, I think, if I'm right, I'm going to do chocolate and chili brownies. Chocolate and chili brownies, probably with a chocolate ice cream served with pomegranate seeds along there as well. And then, of course, we've got a themed drink. So it's going to be a virgin mojitos coming in as well. And we play Mexican music. So it's the whole McCoy. Yeah, it really is the whole McCoy. So,
do you get Samuel dressed up in a sombrero in a sort of mariachi style? I'd like to see that, actually.
I've done it once. But no.
Once you have. See, I thought that might have happened. Yeah. There we go. Oh, and it sounds so much fun. And is it okay for vegans? Are there vegan options?
Yeah, absolutely. So everything is vegan, everything is refined sugar free, and everything has gluten free ingredients in it. I can't say it's gluten free totally because I have gluten in my kitchen and in the machinery and things that I use. But all the ingredients are gluten free. So so hopefully it serves everybody who have got dietary requirements.
I think if you're a celiac, you can have a tiny amount of gluten, but you need to try and eliminate as much as you can. So that's great. Okay, fun. So that's on the 26th of April.
Yes. If you want to find out more about it, you can find out on the website, thelivingchef.co.uk, underneath events or supper clubs. And obviously there's Facebook as well. So you'll find it on Facebook, The Loving Chef. No, it's not. It's Natasha The Loving Chef on the Facebook pages. So would love to welcome some new people, love to welcome older people, love to welcome old friends that we've welcomed before. It is a limited amount of space though, so do book your tickets early because there's only 14 around the table.
Oh wow, so plenty of food then.
Oh yes, plenty of food, 14 people in a yurt. So something different
Sounds
to do.
Good. So you're listening to Good Life at Soulhaven with Samuel and Natasha, and we're almost at the end of this episode, but it's time to pick our cards and our focus for the week ahead. So we have our special hand-decorated cards here, and we're going to pick a card, and that's going to kind of give us some things to talk about and focus on for the next 7 days. So have you got the cards?
I have, Chris.
Okay.
So we've got 71 cards, which are all very brightly coloured.
They're beautiful. I love the cards.
The Life Zen Pack, living intentionally, flourishing emotionally. That's what they're all about. So I'm going to hand you the cards, Chris.
Okay. We had a special guest last week. He did very well with the cards, but looking forward to getting my hands back on these. So let's see what we get this week. Give them a little shuffle. Right, and this week's card is...
Drum roll.
Assertiveness.
Oh, nice.
Oh, okay. I think for me, assertiveness is it's about outward confidence more than inner confidence. And I think even if you're not feeling confident, assertiveness is about portraying that sense of feeling like you're worth listening to. And I think it's a state of mind that makes you feel like what you've got to say is important. And I think a lot of people that don't feel confident, it's about your sense of self-worth and feeling like people care about what you've got to say. So I think confidence is hard to learn, but assertiveness is a skill that can mask if you're not feeling very confident. And then the more you do it, the more your confidence sort of grows.
That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you, Chris. But also assertiveness for me is about being able to speak my true authentic self along the way. So we let go of the patterns of, I can't say this because blah, 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 or I'm going to be too judged, or I can't say what I really want to say for the fear of hurting somebody else. But actually, who are we hurting? We're hurting ourselves by not speaking our own truth. So assertiveness is a fine balance. It is an experiment. We'll never get it right the first time because we're way out of our comfort zones. But great card. Love it.
Yeah, and I agree. I think it's so important to be true to yourself and just feel like you can say what you actually want to say and not be censoring yourself because you're worried about other factors. So be your authentic true self. Absolutely. Samuel, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so being assertive is finding that confidence to speak out and be true to yourself.
Do you find it's a difficult one, assertiveness? Because I would say that your character is quite more thoughtful than necessarily outgoing.
Yes, sometimes I find it difficult to be assertive, and it's something that I sometimes struggle with, to find the right moment to speak.
I think sometimes it can be good to be a listener as much as a talker, though, and I think the world needs more people that do actually listen. Okay, so what are we going to be talking about next time?
Next time we've got permaculture principle number 10, which is use and value diversity. So that's all about cultivating and embracing diversity, not only in the plants and the garden area, but also diversity within ourselves as well. We're probably going to be touching on accepting the imperfectly perfectness of ourselves.
That's brilliant. And I think that's the thing in the garden. Things come in all shapes and sizes and colours and textures, and it is all about diversity, isn't it? And you plant something, you don't know what's going to come out of the ground. No.
We really don't, and that's the adventure of it all, just seeing what else comes up and how does it look like and things. So I'm super excited for that one next week.
That is good. And we're going to have more sounds from Samuel, so I will leave that as a surprise, what we're going to have next time. And another great recipe. So it's still going to be spring, so spring is the time where you've got lots of options, I guess, of different things that you can be cooking.
Yeah, lots and lots of different options coming into the garden there as well. I might treat you to a little dessert next time, though.
By the way, feel free to bring some of this food in with you.
I'm just thinking that.
You just make my mouth water every week, and then I'm just like sadly driving home the dry biscuit in the car. That's it.
I promise I'll bring something in next week for you to try.
Okay, that's been recorded now, so that's the verbal contract. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, guys. That was a great episode this week, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next week on A Good Life at Soul Haven.
Thanks for having us, Chris.
Thank you very much, Chris.